Hello and welcome back to the Pass the Turn podcast with myself, Aaron Francis, and no longer mysterious man, Tom Durrant.
Hello again.
We aim to bring you all the latest Magic the Gathering hype, spoilers, discussions on our very own and sometimes foolish opinions. Today we're going to be just going through some of our favourite cards in Commander Legends and just diving into a little bit of the lore surrounding one of the main characters at the end. So I've made a list of a few cards that I will probably add to some of my decks. I know you haven't really made a list, have you, Tom? But you're just going to commentate on my decisions in life, aren't you?
Yeah, this is what I'm really here for. But may I say, Aaron, you're sounding crisp and clear today.
I am, yeah. So if you can see, I've got a new mic here, picked up from Amazon, 30 quid. So it's an absolute bargain. But yeah, hopefully it's sounding better for everybody, which is nice. But yeah, I've got a few cards on my list. So let's have a look at these then. The first one I want to mention is it's going to be for a deck that I'm building soon, and that's the Ataka World Render deck. So it's a Dragon Tribal red and green deck. And you know Ataka quite well, don't you, Tom?
We know her. She's a good girl.
She is a good girl. She's actually had two iterations. I think I'm using the one that's it's like $50 or $50, 50 cents. That's what I meant, or 50p. So it's the cheaper version. The other one is more expensive, but this is the one that is a 6/4. It's red and green and 5. And whenever a dragon you control attacks, it gets double strike instead of turn. That's the one I'm using. I think the other one deals damage when it enters or something like that. What does it do?
Yeah, I think so. It's just distribute 5 damage when it enters, I think.
Yeah, Dragon Lord Ataka, isn't it, the other one?
Yeah. Yeah, so you're playing the Ataka before she was the Dragon Lord.
Yeah.
And she was a young, sprightly, freshly, not birthed, because they're not born on Tarkir, freshly conjured.
Oh, they're not born on Tarkir?
No, dragons come from storms fully grown.
Oh, I see.
So that's why the clans of Tarkir stood no chance, because they can't just kill the baby dragons and be done with it.
No, they just appear from the storms. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Bit of lore I didn't know. But yeah, that's the deck I'm going to be building. So it just cares about early game. It's just turns 2, 3, and 4, just ramping out with all of your typical green ramp spells. I was thinking of doing mono red with like Lathlis, Dragon Queen, and stuff like that. But mono red obviously has its problems. So I thought red and green would probably be a better solution for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first card this card from this particular set that fits into that is Hellkite Courser. So this is a mythic rare, but to what extent the mythic really matters, I don't know, because I'm not sure whether it's going to be one of the chase cards. So I'm not sure why they printed it at mythic. So Hellkite Courser. So this is red, and 4 for a dragon, and it's flyer, obviously 6/5. And when it enters the battlefield, you may put a commander you own from the command zone onto the battlefield. It gains haste, and then return it to the command zone at the beginning of the next end step. So it's just a good way of just getting Ataka out every single attack. And if her Hellkite Courser survives, you can just keep doing it. And ultimately protecting her as well, because you'll just get send her back to the command zone, which will be pretty decent, because she won't be then. Well, no, if you send her back to the command zone, you still have to cast her for extra, wouldn't you? Oh no, is it every time they die and go back to the command zone, the command attack applies?
Yes, I think this does get around command attacks. I'm not really 100% sure on how the ruling is worded, but I do think the idea is basically you get to cast it one time for free, but it's only temporary, so that's why it's sort of free and doesn't add to your tax.
Yeah, so if your commander was sent back to the command zone via this ability, surely it would then you wouldn't have to pay the tax because the commander hasn't died.
Yeah, I believe so.
So it just says return it to the command zone at the beginning of the next end step. So That's a rule that I don't know if it exists yet, to be honest. Might be worth researching that right now, actually, because to my knowledge, I've never had an interaction which says put your commander back into the command zone. So is the commander tax dictated by however many times it's died or however many times it returns to the command zone?
I thought it was to do with death.
Yeah.
But then that doesn't work because of the new exile rule, doesn't it? If you exile it, you then just choose to put it into the command zone.
Yeah.
So that counts as it going there but not dying.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. So that's an interesting interaction, actually. Anything that sends it back to the command zone. What does command beacon do? Is that put it into your hand from the command zone? Or is that something else that does that? One of them does it. When do you have to pay commander tax? That's the question of the day. When do you have to pay commander tax? But yeah, apart from that, if we can find the answer, that'd be good. But Hellkite Courser, I thought, was good for that because it just brings her out of the command zone, attacking, gaining haste. You don't have to attack with her, to be honest. It's whenever a dragon you control attacks. You don't even have to attack with Ataka. You can just let her stand there. But you can if you want. She's swinging in for 12 commander damage because she herself will have double strike. But giving every dragon you control double strike is pretty backbreaking because there's some hench dragons out there, including this Courser. And they all have flying as well. So it's just, mono green decks or, any other decks that don't really have flyers are going to be open to a huge swing, which is why I just really wanted to build it because it's just a way of ramping out big red dragons by including that green in the command zone.
Yeah, like I say, just get get all the top end down quick.
Yeah, and I didn't want to go into dragon territory or any other colors because I think that would just deviate from what the plan is of just smashing face with Gruul. Like you could have a Jund commander, you could have like Karthus, the Tyrant of Jund, or you could have Darragaz, which we'll talk about later as a primeval dragon. You can have there's a few Jund dragons you could probably have, or Dragon, which is the Wooburg one, but I think just red and green is a lot more focused as to what it wants to do, which is why I chose to go down that route.
Cool. So I've just had a quick look, Aaron, on the release notes for Commander Legends. It does confirm here, this is straight from Magic Wizards website, putting your commander onto the battlefield this way isn't the same as casting that commander. The command tax won't increase. So I believe the way the command tax increases, it's upon the cast trigger. Once you cast it, it basically triggers knowing that the next time you cast it, it needs to be taxed.
Oh, you've got it in front of you there. Oh, nice, yeah.
So this is sort of the important line for us.
Yeah, because it puts it into the play, doesn't it, basically, rather than casts it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think it'd be quite a sort of a useless thing if you had to pay the tax on it. It comes out only so temporary. It's only there for one turn. And if when you wanted to do, you had to pay 2 more for it, I then feel this would then be really quite just a rubbish card. You'd end up just being resenting it. Yeah.
And to print it a mythic rare as well, it's got to have that sort of power level built in, so that does make sense. So yeah, a lot of those dragons and a lot of the good dragons that you want to get are with about 6 CMC, most of them, 6 or 7 CMC. And again, that shows there red, and 4. There's a lot of red, and 4, to be honest. There's Shivan Dragon, which is the classic, which has got to be in the deck just for nostalgic purposes. And the fire breathing is good if you've got double strike. If you've got dragons that have fire breathing, you can just pump them up and just do some serious damage. So yeah, that's why Shivan Dragon should go in there. But that's Hellkite Courser from the new Commander Legends set, which will go in the Ataka World Render deck. Yeah, what do you reckon about that card? Do you reckon that's good?
I do like it, but I don't love it, Aaron. To be honest, I do feel like it's gonna. I say, it gets you that one-time hit, and that's gonna be good for you and stuff. But I just do feel, I don't know, maybe late in the game, maybe after someone's killed a Tarka 4 times and the tax is massive now.
Yeah,
You could then use this cheat. Well, you don't cheat out a Tarka, but Tarka pops out, and maybe you've just got enough battlefield to win the game. Maybe it could be like sort of a game finisher.
yeah.
If someone's sort of been trying to bully a Tarka.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Just maybe just a surprise attack sort of thing rather than anything else. But yeah, in itself, it's a 6/5 flyer, so it can hit. I look at all of the power as basically double because it's a dragon. It's going to get double strike, hopefully. But yeah, all of them are big hitters. That's Hellkite Courser. The next card I've got is actually a potential upgrade for the new Boros Precon. And the video on this will be coming out soon. And it's called Armed for Combat, I believe the deck's called. But this is one of the upgrades for that, and that's Armored Sky Hunter. So this is a 3/3 flying Cat Knight, and it costs 1 white and 3 others. And when it attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put an aura or equipment card from among them onto the battlefield. If an equipment is put onto the battlefield this way, you may attach it to a creature you control. Put the rest of those cards on the bottom of your library in a random order.
So yeah, this is good.
Yeah,
as we said, we sort of mentioned a lot last week about this being a good sort of like general equipment or a deck sort of thing. But
yeah,
surely there's a lot of broken stuff to be done with it as well.
Oh, yeah.
Mana, look at something. I don't know what the most expensive aura / equipment cost is that you could cheat.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few. There's obviously you got the Eldrazi conscription.
Yep.
Which I think is 8 mana. To enchant something gives it +10/+10, Annihilator 2. So that's pretty big. And then also you got Colossus Hammer, which gives them +10/+10, and they lose flying, but that really doesn't really matter. And you've also got like Argentum Armor, which is 6, I think costs 6 and then 6 to equip, which gives them +6/+6, and then it destroys target permanent when they attack. So yeah, loads of good things you can hit with this.
So yeah, here's some auras.
Oh yeah,
It's classification, nice. Cruel reality, conscription, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
Lay claim, mythic proportions, overwhelming splendor, take possession, spirit away, spawning grounds. Yavimaya Embrace.
Yeah.
So
there's a couple of nice cards in there that I've never seen before either. Like the ones that cost a lot are the ones that say you control enchanted creature.
Yeah, like Yavimaya Embrace. It's very powerful. Obviously, it's stupidly expensive, 8 mana.
Yeah.
But yeah, just it's 5 green, blue enchant creature. You control enchanted creature. And it gets +2/+2 and has trample.
Yeah.
So very good. Just take control of something. Same again there. Spirit away. You control it. It gets +2/+2 and has flying.
Yeah, it's basically removal, but it's removal in a way that can benefit you massively as well. Like if someone had an Avacyn and you spirited them away, it's going to become then a 10/10 indestructible that makes all your stuff indestructible.
Yeah.
So that's a good way of getting around especially in our sort of meta, people that are running the Avacyns and those horrible cards. It's a fantastic way of getting around that. So yeah, the Armored Sky Hunter, if you run it in any sort of equipment aura deck that runs white, you can fish out any of those ridiculous cards and just enchant stuff straight away. But then saying that, attach it to equipment or aura to a creature you control, so you won't be able to do those horrible steal effects with it, unfortunately.
Well noticed, Aaron.
Oh no!
Good job we didn't just go and buy all these cards and throw it together, hoping for the best, and then realise that our new Bant Enchantress deck does it.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, not
dear.
literally nothing, because hopefully we've got more interaction than just having an armored Sky Hunter and then all these stupidly over-accosted enchantments in a deck. But
Yeah.
with me and you, Aaron, you'd never know.
Anything could happen.
That could have been a full 99 there.
Oh, it could have been, yeah. And then we would have realised, oh, damn it, this doesn't work at all. But yeah, I mean, that video will be coming up soon. The Boros Armed for Combat video. The Reap the Tides one was got a lot of good feedback. And I thought, yeah, I'll try and release the other one quite quickly. So yeah, expect to see that one fairly soon. And obviously, there's a lot of upgrades that you want to chuck in there. I don't really go into the upgrades that much. I just like to experience the raw power of the deck list in its purest form, which is straight out of the box using the precon. And got some good feelings out of this one. There's some really good cards in it. So yeah, moving on from Boros. I'm very excited to play Boros as well. Have you ever played Boros before?
I don't think I have, weirdly.
No, it's interesting because it's very, very reliant on the combat step. So everything happens for Boros in the combat step.
Yeah.
Which is something I've never really played with before. It's like protecting your creatures in combat. Combat tricks are very, very important in that deck. And it's just a phase of the game which I don't really interact with. So it'll be interesting to just throw some haymakers in, like Team of Battle Rage, when you've just got an unblocked creature through, and yeah, some really good interactions in there. But yeah, if anyone's interested, watch the video on that. So moving on, we've got I think it's a really, really good creature and a very, very good mechanic in general in the set, and that's first of all the Encore mechanic, which I think is really, really good in the set. And I've got 2 creatures on this list that do have it. But what do you think of the Encore mechanic? Do you like it?
Yeah, I think it's really good. Again, it's
Yeah.
just one of the classic mechanics. You throw the card down early, and
Yeah.
then late game, you've just got not just a second copy, you've got a much better version.
Yeah.
The fact that it's not you have to pick one or the other. It's you get to play it as the normal creature, let it die, then you encore it later.
Yeah.
It makes it a really powerful ability. It's hands down going to be a great. Some of the big encore hitters I think are going to be really big.
Yeah, I think it's really good. It's just that that card, the ability for a card to scale with the game. Just obviously, as you said, playing it low to the floor early on, and then as the game goes on, you can play it as a high ceiling card. I don't want to compare it to lands that cycle, but it's just that utility of having both things on the card, which is really, really good. But the card in question that I'm referring to here is Rakshasa, something that we can't really pronounce ever on the podcast. Rakshasa Debaser. I don't know what a debaser is. Rakshasa Debaser. I have no idea what a debaser is. This is a cat demon. It costs black, and 4. So that's a very, very common demon cost for a 6/6. And whenever the Rakshasa Debater attacks, put target creature card from defending player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. And that doesn't have to deal combat damage, just has to attack them. And then you get a creature out of their grave onto the battlefield under your control. And that's not even where it ends either. If you can encore it, you can get a creature out of everyone's grave, which is absolutely mental source, really.
Yeah, really good. So the delay there was I was reading the rule book bit at the bottom of Encore, because obviously in this set there's also the card to let you just end the turn.
Oh yeah.
And I was just seeing here Encore, it says sacrifice being the next end step. So if just at the end of your main phase, end the turn, you'd get to keep the Encore tokens and have more.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's
obviously I know it's more combo not combo, but like it's more and more pieces together. But again, it's just another synergy. The more I think about that card that lets you extend the turn, the more I am liking it.
Yeah, it is very, very good. She's in the blue colours as well, isn't she?
Yes.
Obek.
Yeah.
So you could use the card from M21, the one that discontinuity, the one that ends the turn. Is it Discontinuity? The one that looks like the one that looks like a ghost slicing through his own hand, sort of thing. The artwork on it.
Yes.
Discontinuity. I think that's the one. There's also, of course, the card that did this originally, which was the Sundial of the Infinite.
Yep.
So this sort of end the turn deck for benefit is coming along quite nicely. Yeah, it is Discontinuity. It costs blue, and 3. As long as it's your turn, this spell costs blue, and 2 less. So it can actually cost 2 mana to end the turn. So if you can recur that in some way and just keep ending the turn for benefit, that could be quite good as well. Discontinuity. But yeah, so Obeka does this, Sundial of the Infinite does this, and Discontinuity does this, where you could potentially take the piss out of that Encore trigger. Like on this Rakshasa Debaser, you could then keep all of the Rakshasa Debasers that you've just copied off of the Encore if you end the turn after during the main phase, the second main phase, which would be absolutely ridiculous because you just have an army of them just reanimating everyone's graveyards every turn. That's quite scary, actually. So, do you reckon Encore was designed with that interaction in mind or not?
I don't know. I don't really know why Obeka's in the set. I feel like they must have done it for a reason, and maybe Encore is part of it. Maybe they thought, well, someone will in a draft get Obeka and a cool Encore card, and they will get them both out. They will Encore it. They will do it, and it'll be a story everyone can talk about, and it'll be amazing.
Yeah. I mean, the Command Zone, obviously, they're one of the biggest Commander channels out there. They got to test this like 2 years ago, apparently, and this is one of the cards that Josh Lee Kwai wanted to hope that the set still kept in the set, that Wizard still kept that card in the set because he was going to build a deck around it. So I'm interested to see what he does with it because he's an absolutely awesome Magic mind. And he's probably thinking about all the disgusting interactions that you can get with it. But Encore is definitely what Obeka wants to see. And that's a nice little tangent because Obeka was a nice new card for the set.
Yeah, again, it's one I really didn't think anything of. When I first saw it, I was like, I don't really know. I think that's probably why. First you think, I don't really know what to do with it. But the more you think about it, the more you see these interactions, the better it does show up.
And she's Jeskai, isn't she? Is it Jeskai?
I thought it was Grixis.
Oh, is it Grixis?
Yeah, Grixis.
Oh, Grixis, yeah. So black, red, and blue.
Oh. Yeah.
Black, red, and blue, yeah.
Just
so you can get you can get all of the good stuff from all the red spells that say, because a lot of the red spells will say do this until the end of the end step, wouldn't there? There's a lot of cards that do that at the end step.
Yeah, as the point sort of made last week, and it does say on. Sorry, I keep pressing the wrong one there. And it does say on Obeka, it does specifically say damage wears off this turn and until end of turn, effects end. So you need to make sure that your cards don't say until end of turn. It has to specifically say, like the Rakshasa, it says at the beginning of the next end step. That's the key that you need to look for. Because what you're trying to avoid is ever hitting the end step.
Yeah.
So obviously you just use Obeka's ability in your second main phase. And go for glory. Yeah, I don't know how many different things there must be that can be abused with that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of a few now because I used to want to make an old deck in the old days with it. But one of them is Felden of the Third Path.
Oh yeah.
For 2 and a red, his activate ability says create a token that's a copy of target creature card in your graveyard, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. It gains haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Just cut that clean out, that last bit.
So you just get all the upside from just reanimating a card from your graveyard for 3 mana and just keeping it. Encore is awesome, as depicted there on Rakshasa Debaser, which I think is an awesome card, not only because it's a demon, but because of its ability that does scale with the game. And most of the time there will be a player that you want to target their graveyard specifically, because there's a lot of graveyard recursions out there.
What is the Rakshasa on? Is that another cat? Is that a tiger?
It's like a bear, isn't it?
It's got a big old tail, or is that Rakshasa's tail?
I think that's Rakshas's tail.
Yeah, maybe it is actually. Maybe it's a bear.
So yeah, it looks like a bear. Maybe it's Ayula, Queen of Bears, just taking a hit.
Well, as far as we know, well, but the Rakshasa we know are on Tarkia.
Yeah.
So it's whatever bears live on Tarkia.
Probably not made. Probably all eaten by dragons, I expect.
And I had a quick look. Debaser means a person who lowers the quality or character or value. So,
right,
take that as you will, whatever that means. I don't make the rules.
A cat demon that lowers the quality of forest
Bears.
Wildlife.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So yeah, that's a good card. I thought I'd mention that because of the encore mechanic. And another one I'll segue into now as well, which is on my list, also has the encore mechanic as well. While we're on the subject, is Amphin Mutineer. So this is a creature salamander pirate. It's a 3/3. It costs 1 blue and 3 others. When it enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target non-salamander creature. That creature's controller creates a 4/3 salamander warrior creature token. So yeah, it's pretty good because it comes in, it's a body, it's a removal spell. So it turns Avacyn into a 4/3 salamander vanilla creature. And then later on in the game, it again can encore itself for only 6 mana and just exile 4 things. Yeah, 4 non-salamanders.
It'd be 3 the second time round.
I'll create a token that attacks that opponent this turn if able.
Yeah, because you get 1 for each opponent. So it'd be usually 3 opponents.
Oh, 3. Yeah, but still, that's, yeah.
Still, yeah, 6 mana, 3 kill spells. I think that's a really good rate.
Not even kill it, just exiles them and turns them into a salamander.
Yeah, that's what's even better. Like the fact that they're exiled, it gets rid of so many problematic recursive creatures.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I thought it was really good. And obviously, the encore effect as well is just one of those things in the set that's obviously prevalent, and yeah, you get a body on the end of it as well, which is lovely. So yeah, just thought I'd mention the Amphin. Also, the Amphin have got a weird little storyline in here as well with the Gore Moldrak card, haven't they?
Yeah,
a funny little storyline going on.
Yeah, we touched on that one, didn't we?
Yeah.
It started off with just some like sort of weird flavor text about Gold. What's his name? Gore
Moldrak, I think. Yeah.
Gore Moldrak. Yeah, he just appeared in some flavor text somewhere.
Yeah.
And basically, he thinks that the Amphin are going to rise up and take over the world, of whatever plane they're on. People don't seem to believe him. He seems to carry some sort of circular saw around with him so he can chop them up.
If you look closely at it, I think it looks like a shell or something. It looks like an Amphin sort of artifact, or I don't think it's a weapon. I think it's just like an Amphin thing that he's studying. But yeah, nevertheless, it's just a funny little. It's probably not even a storyline. It's probably just a little bit of flavor text that then was fleshed out, and just sparks some people's intrigue as to what could be happening, and just causes a little bit of speculation. But I don't think anything's really going to be happening with a bunch of weird. There it is. Yeah,
it's definitely a circular saw. He's just slicing and dicing. But no, there is this weird. This looks like it's connected to it. The sort of beads. It's almost like a jewelry thing. It's almost like a sort of a fancy necklace.
Or it's just like a primitive yo-yo. That he carries around. Does like little cradles and stuff with it, like to try and impress the Amphin.
Oh, if that's the storyline they come up with, it'll be so good.
The Amphin are, just amazed by yo-yos.
There'll be like some guy called Terry, and he's like, Terry walks into the swamp and sees his old friend Gore. Hey, Gore, what are you doing? Gore shouts back, "Hey, look at this sweet cat's cradle! Yo-yo time!" As he says this, many Amphins stroll past that he misses because he's stopped looking for them while he plays with his yo-yo.
Oh dear. The stuff we come up with. Could you ever do a cat's cradle trick?
No way. I could barely work a yo-yo.
It was hard, wasn't it?
As it was.
Yeah.
That was awful.
So yeah, Amphin Mutineer. I think it was quite cool.
Yeah, another great one.
Yeah. Next we have one of Command Zone spoilers. Actually, that was Sweet Gum Recluse, which is a spider. Yeah, I'll read this one out quickly while you're getting it up there. So green, and 4 for a 0/3 spider with flash, cascade, and reach. So obviously you can flash in whenever you like. Obviously you'd cascade off of that looking for a 5-drop. It's got reach, so it can block any flyers when they come in. But the great thing about it as well is when it enters the battlefield, put 3 +1/+1 counters on each of any number of target creatures that enter the battlefield this turn. So this will go in Ishkanar, because when loads of spiders come in from Ishkanar's ability, I can just flash this in, cascade, and then put 3 counters on each of those spiders that entered that turn.
Yeah.
So
that sounds good.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, what's good token deck could this go in?
Yeah, any sort of token deck. It's green, so it can go in Selesnya, it can go in Golgari, it can go in any of those token decks. But it's just great because it's a buff spell. It's a 2-for-1, so you get another spell off the back of it. It can then block a problematic creature at flash speed, and obviously it can pump up all the creatures that came into play this turn. Not only for yourself, but for somebody else. So you could save someone else's ass with this. If they created a load of tokens, you can make some political deals. So maybe at some point with it as well. And just cascading it as well. If you could return it to your hand with like erratic portals, which will be in the Ishkanar deck, because she herself has an enter the battlefield ability, you can just keep getting that effect, which is pretty good. So I think that's pretty good.
I must say though, the yellow things on its tummy, that's making me feel a bit sick.
Well, apparently it's sweet gum, so apparently they're quite tasty little things.
I'm not going to chance it, to be honest.
Did you not eat it?
No.
It's a little honey pots, like little honey sacks, maybe.
No, sorry, it's gone. I'm not looking at that anymore. It's still on my screen. I can still see it. I need to go find another card. Go look at the Amphin again.
Yeah.
There's nothing disgusting on there.
I
don't need to see them big honey pustules.
Sweet pus. Lovely. Yeah, so let's move swiftly on from that then. And we've got a card that I did an entire video on recently, and that's Blim Comedic Genius. So this is one of our favourite imps. Or the only imp of the set, actually. So black, red, and 2 for a legendary imp. It's got 4/3. It's a flyer. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, that player gains control of target permanent you control. Then each player loses life and discards cards equal to the number of permanents they control but don't own. So just a fantastic chaos card that this is going to be a deck that I build. This card, 100%.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the final deck is when you do this.
Yeah, it's just going to be funny. There's so many interactions with it. Obviously, I don't want to go into too much detail because there is a video available on the channel that people can check out. But it's just funny. You do have to have a lot of stuff in there that do protect him, though, because if he dies, you're going to be stuck with all these horrible enchantments that will just ultimately make you lose the game. Some of them do have some very, very, very fleeting upside, but then that very quickly turns to ultimate downside. So you do want to try and shift these things straight away. But yeah, it just seems like a really, really fun deck, and I'm glad they're still printing absolutely chaotic cards like this.
Yeah, I would say I like him. It's a very weird template. It's a weird ability, but yeah, like I say, it allows a new type of deck to be made. This, like you say, this evil, create bad things, give it away. Some people have said it's not as good as Zedru. I say Zedru doesn't have black in it.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, Zedru was the original one, wasn't he, that cared about giving permanents away. And you could even... there's another card in this set as well. I think it... what is it called? Gen, is it? Gen, the Mardu one that sacrifices enchantments?
I know what you mean,
yeah, the one that sacrifices enchantments and then gets an enchantment back from the graveyard into play. So you could also use that as a commander, and Blim could be in that as well, because you could just run that full of horrible enchantments that you don't really want to have. You can sacrifice to get better enchantments out of the graveyard. So you could run Blim potentially in that, but I just want to run Blim as a just pure chaos commander. And then you could also, the great thing about it as well is you can just die to your own enchantments rather than give your opponent the satisfaction. Which is another reason why I like it. I don't like giving people the satisfaction that they've killed me. I'd rather just die from rubbish deck building. That's the one, yeah. Glenn.
Good old Glenn.
Good old Glenn. Bash his head in.
Do you regret not getting the Walking Dead cards? Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
Do you regret it as much as I regret not getting the Prime Slimes?
Oh, yeah, those Prime Slimes were lovely, weren't they?
Because guess who's got them now?
What, you've got them?
Yeah, big shout out to Bob in Sheffield. Cheers for selling me a copy of Prime Slime.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, hopefully it'll be with me tomorrow. I was hoping it'd be here today, but no. So hopefully tomorrow I will be able to unpack the slimes and prime myself for victory.
Bob in Sheffield, what? We gave you a Prime Slime thing. How did you get? Where'd you get that from then?
So yeah, it was just on the Facebook trade group. So
yeah,
big shout out to Bob there. He was selling them very reasonably priced. And it wasn't actually until after I'd agreed the sale, I was like, I actually have no idea how much anyone else is selling these for. I just got so excited that I saw someone selling them.
Nice.
Just jumped straight aboard.
Wow.
So yeah.
It's nice to know that you buy Prime Slimes over a new microphone.
Yeah, I should have bought that microphone, but
needs must.
Prime Slime won't go on sale on Black Friday though. So
no, that's true. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, this mic that I've got in front of me is still very, very cheap, very well priced. But yeah, Prime Slime, yeah, that's brilliant. They are very, very good, very aesthetic cards. Speaking of aesthetic as well, I just want to mention Altar Sleeves, which Pleasant Kenobi told us about when he was playing us with his Tachiover deck, which he now also has a deck tech on, and you can see it's a showcase deck as well. It's literally got Russian cards in there. It's got full art altars. It's got sleeves, and it just reminds me of this Prime Slime art. It just looks so awesome. It's just a testament to, if you love your deck, if you love Magic cards, pimp it out, and you can do it so cheaply. I just got myself a sick Malfagor altered frame sleeve. I don't know the format. I'll probably do an unboxing video or just some sort of video regarding the sleeve, because I don't know, how, in what form they show up. I think it's just a clear inner sleeve, like one of the really thin ones that you just put on your card. Is it an inner sleeve?
Yeah, I think so. That's my understanding of it. That they are just an inner sleeve. Then you put your proper sleeve on top. So effectively, from like, you could just put like cards in your 99. Having these sleeves on, you wouldn't be able to tell them apart from any other card in the deck.
Yeah,
they're, as far as I'm aware, fully like tournament legal as well. If you use them, I guess the only problem is if you there's a few weird rules in tournaments about obscuring like artwork, that the card still has to be recognizable.
Yeah,
but then I'd argue when they print sort of like 5 different printings of a card, is anything ever recognizable anymore?
No, exactly.
Like, if I turn up with 4 of these Void Slimes, no one's going to recognize that.
No.
Like in the modern community.
No.
If this is legal in modern, I don't honestly know how old Void Slime is. Probably is.
I remember getting it in Simic Guild kit, Void Slime. Yeah, it's a great card. Because it counters all activated abilities and anything, doesn't it? Any ability it counters. Void
Yes.
Slime.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very good.
So Lou has told us that his favorite Legends card is Prismatic Piper.
Makes sense, yeah.
So yeah, as we said, Lou, you can have 2 of them every draft for free, no matter what. Whoa! You enjoy them, son.
It's about as good as a basic land, isn't it? Prismatic Piper. Wow. But if you suit it up with, I was just going to say, Prismatic Piper, you have to choose a color, and it is that color, isn't it? You wouldn't get the buff from Commander's Plate. It wouldn't be classed as a colorless creature because it's still the creature that you choose it to be, isn't it? The color that you choose it to be.
Yes. Yeah.
So you can't choose it as a colorless creature and get protection from all colors if you equip it with the Commander's Plate. Because that was Lou's idea before, was to equip, use Commander's Plate in a Kozilek deck to give it protection from all colors. Which seems like a legitimate strategy. Where were we even going with this? What was we talking about before we got into that?
We spoke about Gen, and that's how we got into Negan.
Yeah.
And before that, we were talking about Blim.
Blim, that's it. Yeah, that's the one. So yes, Lou, I'll be building a Blim deck. Just black and red chaos, horrible permanents I want to give other people. Not sure if you've seen the video on that on the channel, check
it out. It's good.
Yeah, it's a lot of horrible stuff in there. And also, someone commented on the video as well that we could run the Demonic Hordes. Do you remember that Demonic Hordes card we spoke about in the Demon podcast?
Of course, Aaron. One of the best demon cards I think we could find, wasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. So the first demons ever printed, we can actually use in Blim, which is just fantastic. There it is. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So tap to destroy target land at the beginning of your upkeep, unless you pay black, tap Demonic Hordes and sacrifice a land of an opponent's choice. So you just give this to a player that doesn't have any black mana, and they have to sacrifice lands every turn. Fantastic. Oh, brilliant.
We got him.
Absolutely. And look at the art. That's just like loads of Blims all in one place, isn't it? It's fantastic.
So I get scared bringing up these old demon cards now in case they're of the banned artworks.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember what was on that list, but
yeah, there's quite a few on there, weren't there? But yeah, I just absolutely love that card, Demonic Hordes. And it's going to see some play. Right, so the next card on my list is one you said could have been better in the first time you mentioned it, and that's Brynlin, the Moon Kraken. So this is it's a character from Zendikar. I believe some of the Planeswalkers during the story, I've only read a little bit about it, but apparently some of the Planeswalkers did meet Brynlin, the Moon Kraken, very, very briefly on Zendikar. But it's only printed at uncommon here. So, yeah, you got it in front of me there. So it's blue, and 6 for a legendary creature Kraken. It's a 6/8. And when it enters the battlefield or whenever you cast a spell with converted mana cost 6 or greater, you may return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. So this will probably go in my Thassa / Slim Voda deck, which is just mono blue, big sea creatures that you power out with Urza's Incubator. Not Urza's Incubator, Thran Dynamo, all of your massive mana rocks. You just want to be playing massive creatures. And this one will just return potentially your own Krakens and stuff back to your hand, because a lot of them have entered the battlefield triggers where they wash away every non-blue creature or every non-Kraken creature. So I think it's just good interactions with that, and it's just a cool-looking Kraken, really. But I guess, as you say, it probably could have been better from obviously our sort of standpoint on the power of sea creatures, Zendikar's Oceans.
Yeah, it needs Island Walk at least. Deserves it.
Yeah. I mean, all the big ones do, don't they? Wow, they should. They should have Island Walk. They all reside in the ocean. They should all have Island Walk, shouldn't they?
They probably should.
They probably should.
Yeah. And yeah, but I'm sorry, I'm with Lou on this. The casting cost alone is enough for me to lose interest. Not my words; they are Lou's words, but words that ring true nonetheless.
No, that's true. Yeah.
But no, I say this: you will definitely cast this against me, Aaron, and you will absolutely destroy me, and I will be in tears. I'll have to drive home with tears in my eyes because with the vaccine, we'll be safe from COVID now, and we will be able to play in each other's houses.
Yeah.
And I will die, and I'll be sad. But until that happens, I'm going to say Brennan, bring it on. Rexiel's going to smash him in the face.
Rexiel.
The real King Kraken of Zendikar.
That's true. That's true. He is a good card that you've always wanted to build. And yeah, I mean, Krakens, Leviathans, Octopuses, and Serpents. We did a whole episode on that podcast. I think it was, 15, 16, 17, podcast 6, 16, 17.
Yeah, we must be due another one of them soon.
We'll be doing another creature theme episode soon, probably on.
Was it Angels we said we might do next?
Probably, yeah, Angels. Yeah, as obviously we got the full story of the. We'll speak about. Is it Lisa? Is it Lisa? The other sister.
Yep.
Of
the
Angels.
Final sister.
The final sister. So yeah, maybe we'll go into Angels soon because now we can speak about that particular circle. But yeah, definitely do another one of those soon. But yeah, Brian Lynn. I think it's quite good. But I to be fair, I run a mono blue sea creature deck, and a lot of those big sea creatures are converted mana cost 6 or more, and I don't really have a problem with playing them. You saw how oppressive it was when I played it with you when we were not in isolation, and the fact it can just continuously wash people's creatures away apart from my own, which is what I absolutely love doing. I love playing with decks that people initially say, Slyn Voda, why are you playing that for, you idiot? And then it suddenly just causes them all sorts of issues. I just love that. I don't like playing the standard commanders, and neither do you, I don't think.
No, we are definitely of the jank end of the scale.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like when I'm looking to build a commander and I'm like, sometimes I'm just thinking of a color pair or something. Maybe I've seen something I just want to do and what can I use this commander? And then I look at it and I think, it's a good one, but literally everyone is playing this. So
yeah. You want to find your own unique one, don't you? So what should we go on to next then? So my next card on my list is Rings of Bright Hearth. So Rings of Bright Hearth, you had a story to tell on this on the last episode. But I just think this is an awesome reprint. It was getting into ridiculous numbers with regards to the cost, and I just want to have another artifact that can copy an activated ability. That's what I wanted to have. I think Lithoform Engine does it. I still haven't picked one of those up, but this is for Ishkanar Graph Widow again. Rings of Bright Hearth. So 3 cost artifact. Whenever you activate an ability, if it's not a mana ability, you can pay 2, and if you do copy that ability, you may choose new targets for the copy. So if Ishkanar is running really, really well, most of the time it will have like 10, 15 spiders out. So I can normally drain people for about 16. So being able to copy that ability for 2 just means kill target player, basically. And that's what I love about the Ishkanar deck, is that it can go really, really wide and then have the ability to just kill someone at instant speed if you got the mana. And this will just accentuate that ability and any other activated abilities. But that is the main one that I'm going to use it for. Unless can you think of any other activated abilities that you might use it for or have used it for before?
Here we go. Jalira, Master Polymorphist.
Oh, yeah, there she is. Look.
5 sweet mana.
Oh, there we go.
I only have to sacrifice 1 creature. 5 mana, 1 creature. I get 2 non-legendaries. Huh? It's like Cascade on the steroids.
Oh, it's brilliant.
But unfortunately, my terrible deck building skills means I usually just get like a 1/1 outfit and It's not been profitable, that's for sure. But no, I'm glad for the Rings reprint. Let's say it wasn't monstrously priced, but it was just that little bit too expensive. It was like, oh, I don't really want to have to spend that much on just sort of one card.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now, getting a reprint, it's hopefully going to drop down. By the look of it here, it's saying it's going to go down, hopefully around, well, that's saying €4. It's a lot less than the dollar price, but fair. Actually, weirdly, that's, I don't know why, the dollar price for all of them is so much more than the euro one for some reason.
Yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it?
€11 isn't too bad for it, but $60 that it was is a lot. So I don't know quite what's happening there with the price.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is on. Well, Liliana Market's normally the one I normally use. In the UK, it's if you don't know what it is, anybody who's watching, it's just a site where you can sell your own cards. You can buy other people's cards, basically like Card Market, but for UK. So I just use it because a lot of people will sell stuff on there just to try and get rid of their cards for quick cash, basically. Cards they never use. I've got an Elder Gargaroth on there right now for £10 because I'm never going to use it, and it's the cheapest one you can find on there. And a lot of people will do that on there. They'll just put it as the cheapest price they can get just to try and shift it for another card that they want. But this isn't a commercial for Liliana Market. I'm just an advocate for it. I've sold loads of cards on there and bought loads of cards on there. But on there at the moment, it's £35. That's the cheapest one you can get. That is German.
For what, the Rings of Bright Hearth?
Rings of Bright Hearth, yeah. But that's a German copy, so that's £35, moderately played condition. But for a Lorwyn English, it's £40 for one card. So, this is printed at rare in Commander Legends, so I'm hoping that a few of them get open to drive that price down because I do want to have it. Yeah,
hopefully it goes down. And if not, hopefully we open it and then we don't have to buy it.
No, exactly, yeah. I think Troy's doing Troy's got a Commander Legends box pre-ordered. He did open the Jumpstart box as well, but I still haven't got around to releasing it. So we'll do that at some point, I guess. But just haven't had the time to do it, really. Plus, that night when you actually came round that night as well, didn't you, for a couple of Commander games? That was before I had my anti-glare light, because I've got a lot of the cards I glare on.
Yeah.
So people watching the stream or listening to it in the future, you might see those videos at some point if we're really desperate for content. But yeah, I'm just going off on a tangent. I can't remember where I was going with that, really.
It's about opening boxes.
Yeah, the price of Rings of Bright Hearth. Hopefully, we that gets brought down, or we open it. Yeah, basically. Sweet. So the next cycle, just wanted to mention all the diamonds, because all the diamonds, obviously, they're 2-drop artifacts. They enter the battlefield tapped, but obviously they tap to add a color of whatever diamonds you've got. So you got moss diamond, or pearl diamond, or ruby diamond. That's it. That's the cycle there. So this is basically just your 2-drop ramp for white and red. So a lot of these, maybe even black, but these 2-drops now are the new 3-drop, 4-drop, because you just want to be getting out your ramp as soon as possible. And obviously stuff like Marble Diamond and Fire Diamond is basically your rampant growth for red and white, the people that don't have the ramp. Well, even black and blue don't have ramp either. So it's basically just one of the best rocks you can get for that purpose, I think.
Yeah. Obviously, very lacking in colour, though. You do need to only be playing 1, maybe 2 colours. I'd say as soon as you're into 3, definitely not worth it with these.
You'd run the talismans instead, wouldn't you?
Yeah, there's plenty of other options.
Yeah. But again, if you're like mono white or mono red, you definitely take one of these, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think for the draft, I'm always trapped by sort of mana rocks in draft. I always think, that'll be good. I'll get my big stuff out, and then it's just I've wasted a turn playing this.
Yeah.
So I never really know whether or not they're going to be good. I'm usually bad.
Yeah, I don't know how it would work. Well, you might the draft and the whole game might be warped by the fact that it's going to be 4-player rather than 2. So you might actually look for more sort of mana accelerants if it is being drafted for 4-player purposes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if it's going to be sort of grindy, self-correcting, sort of you're playing bombs, it's going to matter more than anything else in the draft.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe it is. Maybe the fact that you're going to get there one turn before anyone else might make it so it's worth squeezing these in your decks for the draft.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be interesting to see how people do build their decks, whether they do include ramp and that sort of stuff. When you normally wouldn't in a 1v1 sealed or limited, you never put mana rocks in there, do you? You want to put removal spells in there or cheap unblockables or stuff that hits your opponent's life total, because it's just a massive race in that sort of game. Whereas this, it's about building your board state and building an engine and just getting a lot more time to do what you want to do with your deck, basically. The diamond cycle, just want to mention those. And another cycle is the lands. So these are going to be evergreen lands that you want to have in your commander decks, because that you're always going to have more 2 or more opponents. So they're just going to be dual lands for commander. So you do want to pick up your Vault of Champions, Training Center, all that sort of stuff. I think they are actually different than the original ones. I think are they enemy colors or are they ally colors? I think they're enemy colors, aren't they?
This time round, they're enemy colors.
That's it. Yeah, that's the one. I always get mixed up. So I think you got Orzhov, Izzet, Golgari.
I thought for some reason all 10 were in Battle Bond, but
I don't know. Maybe they were then.
Here they are.
That's it. Yeah,
with a few extras. There's War Room, Slayer Stronghold, and Command Beacon in here.
Yeah, I did want to mention War Room as well, but yeah, there they are. Look, yeah, so really nice art as well. They all depict like a stadium, like a fighting arena sort of thing, don't they?
Yeah. Oh no, sorry, you are right. These are the first printings for the enemy color ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is good to see the sort of cycle be finished.
Yeah, so that's decent. And obviously the War Room as well, I just want to mention as well, that's a very, very good include for mono white or mono red decks that can't draw cards very well. And especially if you're monocolor as well, because you won't have to pay that much life away. So you pay life equal to number of colors in your commander's color identity. So if you're running mono red, mono white, you only have to pay 1 life for that and 3 mana to draw a card, which could be good.
Obviously not the most efficient thing, but as you said, you're running it in places where you're going to be struggling for drawing cards otherwise.
Yeah. So yeah, you'd run in mono red, mono white. You also run things like Miko Koro, Center of the Sea, where you tap and each player draws a card. You're running as much stuff as you can, really, to just help you draw those extra cards that you're not getting from your other sources, which is vital. So it's good to have another land that does that. So that's good. And obviously, Command Beacon, is it? That's the one. Yeah, which is great. Taps out of mana, doesn't come in taps or anything, and you can just put your commander into your hand from the command zone. So it just gets around the tax again once.
Yeah, really good for later in the game.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if you've got a ridiculously costed commander, which I have a few of. It's always good to get around that tax again. It's one of the worst things about playing, like, for instance, Vilis, Broker of Blood, one of my favourite commanders ever, basically a legal Griselbrand, is you bring him out and then he gets killed straight away. And it's just like, for God's sake, literally just paid 8 mana for this bloke, and now he's going to cost 10.
Yeah, it does make it. So
it's just, yeah. But if he sticks around, he's very, very good. There's not enough content of him on the channel, so I'm going to try and play him a couple more times, because I don't think I have any videos on him on there. But he is ridiculous when you get him going. And speaking of which, we've just set up a Discord for a lot of our members who are either in our team or we've met on our travels at Pass the Turn Versus, or other people that are associated with shops that we've been involved with as well. So we're going to be trying to do, while the UK is still in this lockdown period, to trying to play some EDH on online. You could join our Discord if you wanted to. So I think I can just send a link to this chat now. So I know Lou was going to potentially try and send us an email, but he hasn't done so yet. So if I just drop this in the chat, you can just, or anyone who's watching now or in the future can use this to join our Discord. We've got a few people in there at the moment, including a few of our rivals on the Pass Turn Versus series, some of the shop owners, and a couple of our meta as well. So let me just try and get this link. Where is it?
Lou's got a tip for you. For Villis is sort of play it as throw him into your graveyard and then reanimate him. It's like a sort of alternate way of getting around costs and stuff.
No, that's a good idea.
But yeah, but I've played against your Villis deck and obviously I've seen it working. So
yeah, I mean it's
all different ways, isn't it? It's good.
Yeah.
I do like it when planners have sort of a few different paths you can go down to make their deck work. I like it when you can sit down across from a clan, you think, oh, this is going sort of one of three ways.
Yeah.
Rather than there's some clans you sit down and you think, well, we all know exactly where this is going.
Yeah.
Like there's only one option.
Yeah, I mean with Villis especially, it is very much you can win out of nowhere, or you just die to your own abilities. That's what I like. That's what I like to play. I like to play. You either win or you lose by your own means, basically, and that's just literally demons defined, isn't it? You either reap ultimate power or you die to the demons that you summon, basically. And Malphegor, and again, is another example of this, which I've just bought an altar sleeve for. He runs Villis in part of the 99, and I always Buried Alive. I haven't got Entomb yet, but that's on my list. I always chuck Villis in the graveyard because, again, like Lou said, he is a prime time reanimation target. But yeah, that's also an awesome deck that if it goes off, it's very good. And Malphegor is always good. Board wipe from the command zone. What was I looking at beforehand? I was trying to get the Discord link.
Yeah, the Discord link, if you can.
Did I Facebook it to you or didn't? Did I? I sent you it on message privately.
Yeah, I've got. Get that up.
How do I get it up?
Copy link location.
Invite people. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, there's a link there. I've got it. So how do I give this to you?
I've just put one in the chat.
What, on the YouTube chat?
Yep, that should have gone to both YouTube and Twitch.
Okay, lovely, excellent. Yep. So there we go. We just had some Saka Rem join our. I'm not sure if that's the right pronunciation. Join our Discord. So I think is that Lou Saka Rem, SACAREM. If you could confirm on the.
Tell us who you are.
Tell us who you are now.
Show your face.
Stop
skulking in the shadows.
But yeah. Just trying to build up our community a little bit more, engage with everyone who's obviously watching the videos is fantastic, and we can potentially play some EDH online. We got a massive player pool. We still got people waiting to join as well, so there'll always be, hopefully, someone will be free in the Discord whenever you want to play, to potentially just play a game with you one-on-one, or we can set up a table, but everyone will have access to Discord. So it's just a good way of just getting everyone in there, getting the community in there.
I suppose I better join it at some point then.
Yeah, probably should, yeah.
Sorry about that, guys.
It's okay. So yeah, that's
Lou's confirmed that was him just joining quickly.
awesome.
Cool. Thanks very much for that, Lou.
That's great.
Yeah, we'll try get some games in. Find some spare time for us all.
Yeah, definitely. So that is awesome, and that's pretty much my list. I haven't got any other cards on there. Do you have any? Do you have any cards that you want to talk about?
I've got a few.
Yeah,
Got a few.
Show me. Show me. What have you got for me?
Hope this has worked. Yes, it has. Right. I can't believe we didn't really see this before. This is the tortoise and the hare.
Yeah, we didn't, did we?
Arkalos and Quain. I must admit, I did see Quain and his flavor text being, why so slow? Why so slow? Hurry up. You never know what you'll find. I did think, oh, it's like the fast hare from the turtle and the hare sort of thing. But I didn't really click that then Arkalos is the slow one. His life is not a race.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
they did give us a bit of lore on the two of them.
It's lore time with Tom.
Yeah.
My favourite part.
Is this the bit?
I'm just going to sit here with my bat.
So it says, Quain, the rabbit folk Quain, has many talents. He's a fast mover, a fast thinker, and a fast talker. To him, the world moves in slow motion. He believes people spend far too much time making up their mind when they could just be doing. To that end, no one frustrates him more than the turtle folk Arkalos. To Quain, Arkalos represents everything he finds irritating. But still he finds himself drawn to the turtle, literally running circles around him, trying to get any sort of reaction.
Oh, brilliant.
There we are.
What's not flavorful, though, is that the rabbit doesn't have haste.
Yeah, I thought that as well. The fact that it's not red, no haste. You can't. So I saw someone say that it should come in, even if it wasn't like proper haste, but basically letting you use the ability once. The first, I can't remember how they worded it, but it was a good weird way to get around having haste, but letting it tap the first turn.
There's a card that Sean, who's actually going to be joining our Discord soon, the owner of Level Up Gaming, who obviously gave us the pass turn discount code, so use that when you can, please. Sean had a Elf Ball deck, and there's a card in there, I think it's called 1,000 Year Elixir, and that does exactly what you want it to do with Quain. It basically says you can activate abilities as though they had haste.
Yeah.
So as though they had haste. They don't actually have haste, but they can activate abilities as though they did, basically.
Yeah. So yeah, it stops people attacking brokenly with stuff.
Yeah.
But to say brokenly, there's millions of cards that give creatures haste. It's not like that's like an unfounded thing. Yeah. So there's a little thing on Arkalos as well. Where's that just gone? So it says, the turtle folk shaman Arkalos has lived a very long time. So long, in fact, he forgot his own age centuries ago. He spends much of his time meditating in his shell, spreading his considerable magic across the marsh he calls home, feeling and understanding each and every aspect of nature. His magic power is so immense that one finds themselves drawn into Arkalos's pace. Ask a simple yes or no question, and you'll find that an hour has passed without you noticing, and you still haven't received an answer. Only one being, that a pesky rabbit folk, has been able to resist this magic. While Arkalos finds the rabbit folk's interruptions irritating, he knows he was ancient when the rabbit was born and will be older still when the rabbit rejoins the earth.
Wow.
So there we have it.
They literally just do have a whole story together, don't they?
Yeah. So I don't know. I want to know what plane this is. I want to know, are they coming back ever? Like, will we see them? Will we see Arkalos and Quain's grave when Quain dies and Arkalos lives on? Will we see that prophecy foretold? Hopefully not. Long live Quain.
Yeah, long live Quain. Itinerant meddler. He just messes with people's itineraries all the time.
Too speedy.
Pesky rabbit.
What are you more like, the hare or the turtle?
Turtle, I reckon. I like to take my time. Yeah, I don't like to rush through things.
Same, definitely turtle.
Definitely turtle.
Pesky rabbit.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think the flavour of Quain as well. The fact that he's a rabbit, he's a hasty rabbit, and he wants people to draw cards and gain life. I don't know where they were really going with that. I think it should have been more of a red blue, maybe even Jeskai. You know, to also complement the fact that Arkelos is 3 colours. Maybe, you know, Quain could have been 3 colours as well and had haste and did something else potentially more interactive.
Yeah, I'd like to know why they designed it that way, or was it? I don't know. Maybe they designed the turtle first and had this cool mechanic thing. They thought this would be like fun, like sort of slow turtle thing.
Yeah,
and they thought, oh, it'd be funny if we had the rabbit, and they're like, oh, we've just got this random creature. We could just make the rabbit. Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
but I don't know. To me, it feels like It feels that they designed it together. I feel like it was purposeful, but I'm just not seeing the purpose of the rabbit. I'm not seeing why that is what it is.
No, exactly. And I think it should have been. I think it should have been red white as well, because obviously then it would have had the blue, which is the same color as the turtle. Then it would have had the enemy colors of both black and green, the red and white. So that could have been a better build around for a commander as well, because you could have more colors. But yeah, nice little story between the two of them, which is nice to see. I reckon it's not going to be fleshed out. It's probably just going to be a little thread that they leave in there for speculation, like they have done with the Gore Moldrack thing. It's nice.
Wait, what color? Yeah. So I've just looked at what's taken the place of the Jeskai card, and it is Nostro. I'd have happily just not had Nostro and had the rabbit there instead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Because that Nostro is not doing much for me either.
No. I mean, even if you had the rabbit, the rabbit as, you know, the same abilities, tap, choose one, where X is number of spells you've cast this turn, that's more along the sort of fast-paced, what the rabbit wants to do.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, he's trying to get as many things done at once.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So this could have easily been Quain. You know, where he wants to. You could have changed the ability a little bit more, but yeah, you could have tapped and then tapped as though he had haste as well. That the Alexa tacked onto it and give it more flavour. But never mind, we don't design cards; wizards do. I want to mention something else which I know you really, really like, and that's the new Kamal card.
New Kamal, he's a good lad.
So yeah, he's awesome. Obviously, he's had Kamal Heart of Krosa, which is the one that's the new one, and Kamal Fist of Krosa, which was the old one. So make of it what you will as to who's better. Leave a comment in the section below as to which one's better, which one's worth the squeeze. But have you got him in front of you? Do you want to read this one out?
Yeah, so Kamal Heart Krosa is 6 green, so very expensive.
Yeah.
5/5. At the beginning of combat on your turn, creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain trample until end of turn. Then you can pay 1 and a green until end of turn. Target land you control becomes a 1/1 elemental creature with vigilance, indestructible, and haste. It's still a land.
And it has partner as well.
And has partner. I keep forgetting to read out the partner ones. I do apologise for that. But yeah, he's just doing all the good stuff. It is overrun on a body, which I guess is at the beginning of combat. So even if they kill Kamal, if the trigger happens, it happens.
Yeah,
they still get the size.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Again, it's just one of those high-costed commanders, isn't it? That if you build a deck around it, it's just like, I need to try and get him out somehow. It's just the CMC thing is hard, but if you love the cards, you do it. You find a way around it. But why do you like Kamal so much anyway?
It was the first book I read. It was the first thing that got me into the lore of Magic.
Right.
The Kamal storyline with the Mirari.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was actually Kamal Pit Fighter.
Yeah, back in the day, it was Pit Fighter, wasn't it?
Yeah, the OG. And I was like, yeah, this guy's awesome. And I got the card, and I was like, I was still fairly new to Magic. So I was like, yeah, this card's awesome. But now I look at it and I think, oh, come on, you could have been so much better. The power you had in them books, you are worthy so much more than a 6/1 haste that can tap to deal 3 damage to target creature or player.
Yeah.
Like, he could take on a lot more than 1 toughness. I'm telling you now. That guy was a bruiser.
Yeah. Yeah. If you look back at those old cards, you think, oh, yeah, the characters, but back then, you know, the legendary creatures, human barbarians now would literally be a common card now.
But yeah, but fair, his tap to deal 3 is pretty big. I'm not sure there's anyone else that does a much bigger pinger, sort of
Tap
like
3D. Yeah.
I'm not sure if there's much other ones. There's a few that can sort of scale. There's a few that like deal damage equal to their power. Then if you adapt their power with like combat tricks or general pumps and stuff, you can make them bigger. But
yeah, but just straight up tap 3 damage. Yeah, that's it could be quite good. You give it the age old pinger. Give it death touch. There you go. Kill something straight away.
I'm just seeing what Kamal's other spells are. Kamal's Desire. Enchanted creature gets first strike. And Threshold. Enchanted creature gets +3/+0. Fantastic.
Oh, amazing.
Lou said can partner Kamal with Jessica for flavor alone. Perfect, because they are, of course, brother and sister.
That's true, yeah.
Kamal's Sledge deals 4 damage to target creature. If you have Threshold, it deals 4 damage to that creature and 4 damage to that creature's controller.
7 mana, though. It's madness.
Oh, yeah. I didn't. For some reason, I read the 5 as a 2. I read it as 4 mana.
Ridiculous.
So I'll do that. But yeah, no, 7 mana. Old Burn was weird back in the day.
Oh.
They used to have like some weirdly like aggressively costed burn spells. Then just 7 mana Sledge. Oh yes.
Yeah, that's literally when I started playing around that sort of time. It was Odyssey, which was the one with Mirari as the symbol there on Kamal's Desire, and then Kamal's Sledge. This is when I started playing, back when those cards were printed there. And yeah, it's just weird looking back on the cards. You just think, wow, they were so shit back then. So rubbish. But yeah, what can you do, eh? Power creep. Power creep hurts everybody. Even Pokemon players.
I'll get them eventually.
Exactly. Yeah, you look back at the old Pokemon cards; they are garbage now as well.
Are they?
Yeah, like the old school Charizard does 100 damage. You have to discard all your energy cards or something like that were attached to it. It's in comparison to some of the GX Pokemons now. If people even know what I'm talking about, are just stupid now. Like power creep, it affects every card game. I think eventually. Because you can't keep printing the same stuff over and over again. That's the thing that you have to sort of work around, I guess, in sort of R&D and research development and designing cards, and that is you have to keep the game fresh by printing, powerful cards. But then when does it stop? When does power creep stop? Will there be a card? We discussed this. This should probably be a whole podcast episode dedicated to power creep. But when will the double damage, triple damage, quadruple damage? Don't even know what the next word is for 5 times damage, 6 times damage. When does the commander format then become 100 life total? Because everything is now skewed to the point of ridiculousness. I mean, when that card gets printed, this red permanents you control now do 4 times damage. It's just going to be. Yeah, I think there's going to be a time when the cards are just too good. But yeah, there needs to be a podcast dedicated to that, really, because we've said it a few times now.
Yeah, I think sort of like the one thing that will sort of get me is when I think they already have. I think I'm pretty sure there's a worm that's bigger than Emrakul now, isn't there? There's just a big stompy worm.
Oh, there's the Impervious Great Worm.
Yeah.
16 indestructible. It has Convoke.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah. So Emrakul is like the most powerful being in the multiverse
Yeah.
that can manipulate so much, especially when flanked by their siblings or whatever they are in relation to each other. Yet this big worm would just come and eat it. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think Emrakul would shove a lot of tentacles in that mouth and show the Great Worm who's boss.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Eldrazi are born from the blind eternities, aren't they? So they just literally just warp the world that they're around, and this would be no different. This Impervious Great Worm would just cease to exist around something like that. So, and it's the age-old argument of 15 squirrels can take down 15 squirrels can take down Emrakul, the Promised End, or the Aeon's Torn.
But it's not even just 15 squirrels. 15 men. How many allies did they have at the Battle of Seagate? And they could not take down them.
No, they couldn't do anything at all, could they?
So,
yeah. It's hard to sort of combat that power creep and that sort of representation of what power and toughness is, I guess. But yeah, bloody hell. Calling it now though, they'll have a legendary squirrel in Kaldheim.
You reckon?
Yeah.
We need to start writing these down before we forget them.
Yeah, so there'll be Kaldheim predictions. Will be maybe the podcast a couple of weeks before its spoiler season starts, maybe.
Yeah. Talking about what we didn't do was, Marrow's predictions.
Yeah. What for Commander Legends?
Yeah, for Commander Legends.
I swear we did.
But we didn't. We didn't go back and see how right we were or how wrong we were.
Oh yeah.
So I've got it here.
Let's have a look then. Let's have a quick.
I'll try and do it real quick. We won't spend too much time on this.
Yeah.
14 creature. The card that is 14 creature abilities. So is that the new Chrome? Is that one or not?
I believe so. Yeah.
Turns 3 different card types in the graveyard to the battlefield. What is that?
3 different card types from the graveyard to the battlefield. I don't know. I think we probably need the answers for these as well.
I was going to say, yeah. I think we're going to have to go. We'll do this next week or something. Yeah. I'll try and remember to do this next week, and I'll actually find the answers before we start.
Yeah. That'll be good.
Because they weren't quite as. I do love it though, because that's how good his teasers are. The fact that even when the stuff comes out, it's still not immediately obvious.
No.
Legendary creature, Rabbit Wizard, is the last clue on there. We know that now.
Yeah, we know what that is. Although it should have been Jeskai. It should have been the Spells Matter bloke. What's his name? Chimera. Yeah. But that's it really. Just wanted to mention just another character that's part of the set, and that is the Tevesh Zat. So he is the new Planeswalker, which can be your commander as well. So I just wanted to mention him and a little bit of lore that surrounds him as well. So yeah, there he is, Tevesh Zat, Doom of Fools. So a legendary Planeswalker. So originally, he was born as Tev Longblade, and he was a human Planeswalker from Dominaria. With a draconic form and one of the 9 titans. So the 9 titans existed of Urza, Bo Levar, don't know who that is, Daria, don't know who that is, Freyalise, we know who she is, Commodore Guff, I don't know, that's a ridiculous name, he just farts a lot by the sounds of it, Christina of the Woods, Teysa of Rabia, Tevesh Zat, and then Lord Wingray. So they were the 9 titans that he was part of. Basically he was initially of neutral disposition, so he was didn't really get involved in other people's matters, and his transformation to an evil character followed the death of his sister, prompting him to neutralize the world into silence. He then would become a recurring evil force within Dominaria history, etc. And and he ultimately died at the hands of Urza as well. But I think one of the main things I wanted to mention about this was the fact that he betrayed all of the Titans on his team, and he freed the primeval dragons. And there's a lot of cards that depict like Svat's existence before he was actually a card, and just want to go through those really. So I thought they were quite interesting.
Yeah, so the primeval ones, were they Crosis, Daragraz, Dromar, Rith?
That's it, yeah. Yeah, so I think all of them have had cards, haven't they? And Trevor.
And Trevor.
Yeah.
Here they all are. They were printed in the invasion block.
Oh, you do have them up, yeah. Okay, nice.
So there's 2 extra ones in there as well, Tech and Lotus Guardian. But
oh man, I do love the old gold borders though.
Oh, I don't know. Part of me hates it.
So nostalgic.
No, I look at it and I think, it just looks like a mess.
But yeah, there you go. Look, there's Crosis, Daragaz, Dromar, Rith, and Trevor at the bottom. But obviously we're cutting her off because she's rubbish.
Trevor, what were you doing?
So yeah, basically, Tevesh Szat released all these upon the world.
For the second time.
Obviously, we got some more.
They were dead already for some reason. Someone had killed them. And Zat thought, let's bring them back. Guess who's back with a brand new rap, and he's got cool shoes and a really nice hat. It's Crosis.
It's Crosis.
Fair, this art for Crosis is awesome.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it looks really good.
He's just got a Hoover for a face.
New commander of Grixis Pingers.
Oh, if only.
Yeah. Amazing. That's part of the invasion set, that one there. Yeah. So just wanted to mention those because they're just a throwback to some other legendary creatures. I don't know what's that. Is that a new printing of it there?
Yeah, that's the Commander 17 version.
Oh, okay. So they
get Dragon's Precon.
I see. Lovely. So yeah, he released all the dragons, and there was a few other cards as well that he appeared on as well. There was a disciple of Tevesh Szat that came in Cold Snap. I think was like another like a return to Ice Age later on. Obviously, Ice Age was a very, very old set, but this was like a return to Ice Age, I think, Cold Snap. So we had a disciple of Tevesh Szat. We've also had a minion of Tevesh Szat as well. We've had Dead of Winter, which appeared in the Modern Horizons set, and on that it just says, "At last, silence" by Tevesh Szat. So that was a nod to him there being a very, very important character. So that's a good thing about, I guess, Magic. It's got so many characters, so many stories. Especially in the old days, they had the story was one of the main things that the game focused on. It was
weird, wasn't it? They used to focus on it, but then also at the same time, not really give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's
like they do all this stuff for the story and be like, but it doesn't really matter if the cards completely contradict it. You don't really care. All right then.
Yeah.
Much like they do now, to be honest. Like,
yeah,
do they care? Do they not?
They need to get that sort of balance again, don't they? They need to get the story right again. But they did mention this. What was it in the State of Design?
Yes, in one of the articles recently about sort of like a roundup of the year, they sort of acknowledged that this year that the departure they took from the story has not been. Basically, it's not been well received, to be honest. That's really what it boiled down. It wasn't even that they think they've done bad. It's just they know it's been badly received. So they know that they need to do better.
That's good because especially Commander, we're obviously being one of the most popular formats, if not the most popular format. It's good to have characters in Magic that you like to represent as your Commander because of the story that they've told in the Magic the Gathering lore. You gravitate towards these characters because of their story, a lot of the time. Sometimes you just like the look of the commander, maybe do a bit of research, and there's not much story there, and you're like, oh, that's a shame. But it is nice to have commanders that do have stories that you can gravitate towards, because stories is what ultimately the game's about. You're telling a ridiculous story of loads of characters fighting for no reason whatsoever. You got a demon dragon fighting a turtle wizard who's then going up against a master polymorphist for no reason whatsoever. But yeah, stories are what we play the game for most of the time. And the social gathering, which we can't do at the moment, hence we're trying to do spell table stuff. That's it. Because that's great. Got some really good features on spell table. But yeah, that's pretty much it, really, to be honest. Just wanted to mention Tevesh Szat, a bit of history about him, some weird cards that he's been involved with, and just some of our favourite cards in the set.
Yeah, all in all, I think it's a good set. There's loads of good cards in there. It's hard to sort of pin down just a handful of favourites.
No, exactly, yeah. There's loads in there, isn't there?
Like I said, for me, one of the ones that really jumped out for me, the ones that says, if you would scry, draw. Is it that? If you would scry cards instead, draw that many cards?
Yeah, the Sphinx one, yeah. Fantastic.
That just sounds like a joy to me. It really made me just want to build just a stupid little spell slinger deck that's got all the silly little just scry X or like scry amounts. Just make them look better.
Yeah, and it's got partner as well. So it's Elegeth, Crossroads, Augur. 5/6 fly. If you would scry any number of cards, draw that many cards instead. So it's just a replacement effect for scry. So you're just going to draw that many cards instead. So yeah, that's it has partner, so you can partner it with whatever you like, whatever you so desire.
Have to work out what other ones be good with. Maybe one of the old partners. I think it could be 3 colors.
Yeah, maybe one of the old ones.
Need some red in there somewhere, but just don't know what the last color would be.
Oh yeah, probably Vial Smasher, because if you're thinking of slinging spells, you can sling those spells.
Some lava.
Sling some lava. And yeah, black and blue and red do have a lot of maybe not so much red, but I know black has like Surveil, but that's not scry, is it? No, so I'm just talking trash yet again on the podcast.
No, but I think red's got a fair amount of it's like do something and then scry 1. It's just like tacked on the bottom of a card just to make it.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Because again, it's to not give you like proper draw. It's meant to just sort of like smooth your deck out a bit.
Yeah.
So, but if all of them do just become draws, it makes the cards much better.
Exactly. It's when a weird ability then suddenly turns into like a cantrip or a card draw or an engine. When something turns into that, it's just quite an interesting thing, even though it's not ridiculously overpowered. It just makes it interesting to build around, which is nice.
Yeah. It's my sort of nonsense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we like to build nonsense on this channel. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for Commander Legends. We've gone into loads of detail over the last few podcasts, including this one about it and what's good about it, what's not so good. But yeah, there's more good than not good, I think, in this set. There's a couple of cards that... Cheers to Bob for the Prime Slime. He made Tom a very, very happy man. There's a couple of cards that have had some negative feedback, like the Jeweled Lotus.
Yeah, but you haven't really mentioned any of the sort of drawbacks.
No, we haven't really mentioned the drawbacks. I mean, we don't really like to slate on any cards because Commander is more or less a self-correcting format. So as long as the games that we play, Two-Headed Giant, it's hard if someone pulls ahead to sort of stop them because it is still basically one-on-one. But in a 4-player game, when someone casts some ridiculous spells and then 3 people can then potentially gang up on that one person to put them back in check, and that's the game that we play basically. So we don't really slate on many cards. But might as well mention them just very, very briefly in passing. So one of them is Opposition Agent. So this is the one that comes in. You can flash it in at instant speed. You control your opponents while they're searching their libraries. And while an opponent is searching their library, you can exile each card they find and you may play those cards for as long as they remain exiled, and you can spend mana as though a mana of any color to cast the spells. So, what's your initial reaction to that one?
Well, yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just too much, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think I don't just. It just does it all. It's got the low cost. Obviously, it needs to have flash because you need to be able to trick someone into letting you do stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, then you getting them. It's just madness. It just does far too much on one card.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to have. I've heard some people's opinions as well about potential legacy and vintage implications as well.
Yeah, it's got to. Surely. Again, it's human, so it's going to play well with Rick.
Oh, Rick Grimes. Oh, yeah, that card still exists. My goodness.
You could have quite the legacy deck of weird human extras in it now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it? It's a stupid card. There'll be soft bans on stuff like this, I reckon. People will be like, "Oh, please don't play that card." But yeah, I mean, I don't want to slate it too much, but it is very, very powerful and very oppressive. And one of the other ones as well, but I don't think it's going to be frowned upon as much. But that's Hull Breacher. Another card that can flash in at instant speed. And it says, if an opponent would draw a card except the first one they draw in each of their draw steps, instead, you create a treasure token. So, again, just another punishing card that will just flash in and just say, all of that work you've just done, I'm going to have that instead. Thank you.
Yeah. And it's how it says instead. If it was just you draw, you get a treasure for each card they draw.
Yeah.
Fine, sort of thing. But yeah, it's the fact that it can shut them down.
Yeah.
But then I don't know. Maybe we do need some stuff like that. Maybe we do need better sort of counters. Because I know sort of Commander is a format where sort of just playing counter spells is weaker because it's multiplayer. Is a weaker sort of gameplay tactic than in other formats when it's sort of 1v1. You just know that you can use your counters effectively and time them to get more advantage out of them than your opponents get out of their spells.
Yeah.
Whereas it's so hard to do that in obviously Commander, having 3 opponents. You have to. It just makes that choice obviously 3 times as hard every counter.
Yeah, I guess these if they stick on the table, these ones especially, they act as counter spells, don't they? Just permanent counter spells.
Because it's like obviously it counters the first time they do something. Because the first time they cast their big draw spell, right, you've countered that, and then the first time they go to do the searching with the other card, you basically counter that, and then you get some sort of benefit from it.
Yeah,
which is fine because this could just read as a 3-mana counter spell. But then you just make treasure tokens or something like that's a card, and then it also just stops your opponents from playing certain cards in their deck. Like if there's a Hull Breach on the field, there's literally no point in you just trying to play a draw spell.
No,
and it must shut down so many things. Like all them cards that's. Obviously, they're printing loads at the moment, and maybe that's why they've had to print Hull Breaches. That they print so many cards that just say, like, when you do this, draw a card. Like, when you cast a creature, draw a card. When you play a land, draw a card. There's so many things like that now. Yeah. Maybe they just felt they need something that is just a valve to shut these things down.
Yeah. You do need that silver bullet to shut some decks down. Like Tatiova, for instance, when we played against it, against Pleasant Kenobi, it was, it's when every land turns into a card. It's just like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. It
shuts off those value engines, and I guess they then have to deal with that in order to get their value engine back online. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they do come out during gameplay, whether they are just too good, or whether they're just oppressive for that one period in the game, and then after that it just kicks back off again. I don't know.
Yeah, because they are both. I think they're both only 3/2s, so I imagine they're not really going to survive long. Anything you can think of casting to kill it will kill it.
Yeah.
And then it's. I guess the question is how important is it for you? For it to get off the field? Is it stopping your game plan enough that it's worth getting rid of, or can you play around it still and just say, I don't really care? Like, maybe they've used it to stop your big draw spell, but you've only got one big draw spell in the deck. And you think, oh well, I'll just leave it. They got me, and just sort of move on.
Yeah. But it's what I find a bit frustrating as well is that there's 2 cards that do this, potentially 3. So there's obviously your Hull Breacher for blue, which is your 3 mana, flash it in, does a horrible effect. Then you got black, the opposition agent, flash it in for 3 mana, does a horrible effect. The other colours don't have any of these cards.
No,
it should have been a cycle where they all have flash and they all do something differently. But blue and black have just been given these 2 ridiculous cards, and the other cards don't have it. They don't have the flash ruin your opponent's turn cards. They just don't have them. So maybe they should have been given like a red one that flashes in, and then for each creature your opponents have controlled this turn, it does 3 damage to them, or does like a Perforos effect. So it's punishing people that are playing with loads of creatures entering the battlefield. So it counters the token deck, for instance.
Yeah.
Or green does something which counters if something enters the battlefield from a graveyard, it does damage to them equal to their converted mana cost, or something like that. Just something that counters for each color, something that counters a specific deck strategy would have been a great flavor thing to have in there.
And white could be really strong. Like if someone would gain life, you gain that much life instead.
Yeah.
And then you've got more life.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's white. Big tick win.
Yeah, or just something that represents each color well, that counters another color or another deck strategy. I think, but we were only given the agent and the Hull Breacher, so I don't know whether they just do these things to just potentially give us something of that flavor next time, because you actually predicted that we would get more of the Theros Titans in this Commander Legends set, and we never actually saw the other Titans at all. We only got 2 Titans in Theros. Are they deliberately holding the other Titans back, or did they just got bored and just gave up halfway through?
I think they're holding them back.
Yeah,
I think they're well aware of what they've done, and they probably were a conversation. So should we have all 5 in the set? No, let's only have 2.
Yeah,
and then now they can sort of release them somewhere random and weird, one at a time. They release a whole cycle. They can do whatever they want.
I guess, yeah. I mean, if they don't release it all at once as well, and they see the splash that Uro creates, they're like, anything that then bears the Titan creature type will just be all eyes on that. Why is there Rampaging Frostodon up?
I was just thinking. Like, is this on the same line of that thing you just said about 3 mana things that come in and just shut people down? This says the players just can't gain life.
Yeah.
And whenever another creature enters that field, it deals some damage. So that does basically both of them things you're on about. That's a Perforos ability.
Yeah.
And not gaining life obviously helps shut down life gain decks.
Yeah.
But
this would have been a great template for something in red that would have done exactly the same thing. So instead of Menace and Flash, it has a 3 color mana, a 3 CMC. Players can't gain life whenever another creature enters the battlefield. 1 damage, or 2 damage to make it ridiculous. But yeah, that would have been a great template to use for the red one.
Yeah, and then I think there's one in blue as well, isn't there? That if someone were to make tokens, you get the tokens instead. But I can't remember what that's called.
Yeah. Yes, that could have been the white one. So the white one could have been something like some sort of influencer, like a captain that then makes everyone defect to the white team. So whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you flash it in and you gain control of that creature. I know it's not very white, but something along those lines could be quite good. I don't know what the green one could do. The green one will just green like to counter maybe graveyard strategies. But yeah. So yeah, we got some good ideas, but unfortunately, they go unheard. But maybe they'll get heard one day.
One day, Wizards will hire us.
One day they'll hire us to build some cards that you can use that make you cast Teferi's Protection from Exile.
That'll be like their biggest caveat. Like, whatever you do, you can work for us, but whatever you do, you're not allowed to speak to Josh anymore.
Not allowed.
That's it. You've got to cut ties.
Yeah.
We'll say, never. He's one of us.
Yeah. That's why you have a YouTube channel, so you can play custom commanders. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to. You create the rules when you make content. So, on that note, I think that's pretty much all we got time for today.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a very, very exciting set, and I'm going to be purchasing some cards from it. Probably won't be cracking packs for the singles that I want, but we say that, but we all love cracking a pack every now and again. But again, if you're in the UK looking to buy any product, go and visit our affiliate with Level Up Gaming, 2% off. There it is. Use our discount code. That'll help us directly and help the local game stores as well. They're a great shop. So if you're ever in the Bournemouth area, having a trip to the beach or what have you, go and visit them in Charminster. Very welcoming. I know it's not going to happen anytime soon, but I'm sure we'll get there in the end. And on that note, we will see you on the next one. Thank you very much for watching and listening, wherever you might be out there.
Support all your LGS.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, that's the whole premise of our series, really, wasn't it?
Yep.
Shine some light on the LGS.
Christmas is coming. Just you can't go to the shop. See if they do click and collect or delivery or something.
Yeah, a lot of them do.
Most do, and most should be able to accommodate it at this time.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen Gaming Den. The Basingstoke one we went to recently. They're doing click and collect. Tabletop Republic.
They're doing out their little hatch at the back, aren't they?
Yeah. I saw a picture of Dan just standing at a door like this on Instagram. Speaking of Instagram, you can follow us on Instagram now as well, trying to get just more stuff out there. And on Instagram as well, you'll be able to see little insights as to where we might be on a day when we're filming Past Turn Versus or a new episode that's coming out. You might be able to see the thumbnail the day before it's released or what have you. So go and follow us on Instagram as well, please. That'll be great. And I think it's just Pass the Turn, just all one word again. So you should be able to find that on there. And that's about it, really. That is it. So
bye.
Yeah, that's it. Bye. Bye.